Said this one's a competitive tile placement game, and the way that this game works is that players are going to be taking turns drawing a tile from their own personal supply and then placing it on any of the empty spaces out on the board. A fun mechanism here is that some of the tile locations have different icons on them which will prioritize certain tiles, which means that you can only place a tile of a certain type in that space unless there's no other valid placements for that tile. Then you can just choose amongst them. Then there's also other places that you can place any tile into, but you will gain bonus victory points if you do place a particular tile there. There's also spaces with castles on them, and the player that has the most of their colored tile surrounding that castle is going to be able to swap it out with a castle matching their color, which is going to be earning them victory points at the end of the game. And then there are also these cathedral spaces, and this is going to allow players to gain special cards whenever they're able to put their tile adjacent to that space. These cards are really nice because they grant additional opportunities to score victory points because they're going to have different conditions on them, and if you're able to complete those conditions, then you'll earn those victory points at the end of the game. But anytime that a player puts a tile out on the board, they're going to be scoring that tile immediately, and there's really just two different types of tiles offered in this game. There are the farm tiles, which come as energy farms and food farms. Then there are the settlement tiles. And the way that you score the farm tiles is that anytime that a player puts one out, they're going to be gaining victory points equal to the number of connected matching farms that also match their color. The way the settlement tiles work is that each of them is going to have a value based on the number of icons on that tile, and anytime that you just put a lone settlement tile out onto the board, you're going to be gaining victory points equal to the number of icons on that tile. But these tiles can be connected to opponents' tiles, and whenever that happens, it's only the player that has the highest amount of icons in that group that's going to be the one to gain the victory points. In this case, you're going to be getting a set amount of victory points depending on the amount of tiles in that group. That's pretty much all there is to the game. Players are just going to be taking turns drawing a tile and then placing it out on the board, trying to control certain areas in order to score the most victory points at the end of the game. As always, if you're interested in this one, I will have it linked down below, and you can click that notify me button to get notified once it launches.